So I am Paula Robbins. I am the founder of Consciouspreneurs International, and I am with my longtime friend, Jonathan Manske. He is a Cerebral sanitation engineer, and he helps you with your head trash. And we've known each other for, I want to say, what is it, Jonathan? 10, 12, it's probably been almost the entire 12
That sounds
years.
about right, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on. My friend Jonathan is somebody that I just adore. I love what he does in the world. He's fun to talk to. He's got a really cool email that he sends out with some great inspiration that comes out a few times a week. And just thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful that you were agreeable to do an interview and inspire all of us here at Consciouspreneurs.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, Paula, and support you in any way I can and share hopefully some good information with these good people. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, it's been a long time. We have gone through a bit of a windy path over these many years. And I know that when we both started, you were doing mostly like coaching and such, but you've done some groups and lunches and some really cool events. What has your path evolved to? Tell me a little bit about.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same of just helping people get out of their own way and do better. And I do one-on-one coaching and group coaching, and actually had a speaking engagement earlier this morning. And yeah, it's all about helping people to do better. What's different, hopefully, is me, that I'm better at what I do and have a deep understanding of people, which allows me to be more effective in what I do. But still doing the same old thing: writing, speaking, and coaching.
Perfect. And as far as the kind of winding path, when it comes to, having to evolve internally, having to change ourselves, I think that's probably one of the biggest messages that I have for not only, my own walk, but for anybody that I'm hopeful to inspire or support or work with in my way, is we have to overcome some of our own internal challenges. And what would you say have been some of your challenges that you've had to face since you became a consciouspreneur?
Yeah, many. And yeah, it is a winding path for everyone because there's always up from here. So even if things are good, they can get better, and there's always something we can let go of, something we can learn to become that best version of ourselves. And you saying that, it just made me think of, my career is about taking out people's head trash.
Yeah.
And so I've had people say to me, and I've written a book called The Law of Attraction Made Simple and all that. So I've had people say to me, your life must be perfect. You must get everything you want. And, I'm like, yeah, you keep thinking that, right? No, there's always stuff. And so, oh gosh, I think it was maybe about a year ago, something I was reading just made me see some of my own head trash, that I had this belief that I wasn't lovable, right? So that had been in my system for 50 years. I didn't even know it was there, even though this is my career, right? And I help people with this sort of stuff. It was like, oh my goodness. But then once I saw it with any of this stuff, once we bring it to the light, then we can do something about it, right? So once I saw it, then I could do something about it. And it explained a lot of different things in my life. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, that all makes sense now. And since I've taken care of that, I am just blown away by the number of people in my life who really love me and support me and would do anything for me. And my quality of my marriage has gotten a lot better, and all this because, self-fulfilling belief. If I've got a belief that I'm not lovable, even if you try to love me, I'm going to push it back some, So yeah, I don't even remember what the question was, Paula, but there's always something to learn and let go of and grow,
Well, you answered it beautifully. The question was, what is one of your bigger challenges?
Yeah.
And that is a big one that I think a lot of people struggle with. I working as a consciouspreneur in my own walk this many years, I've really worked with a ton of not good enough, or even self-loathing or unworthy and unlovable. is often one of the bigger roots of that. So,
Oh yeah, that's the unlovable, not good enough, not worthy. That's the king of all head trash, or
right,
queen. So
right,
yeah,
right.
I do have one other answer to that question from more of a business standpoint,
Okay.
and that is that for people, there's always the option of doing nothing. So even when we've identified, here's this challenge and here's the pain it's causing them, and here's how life would be better if it was gone,
Right.
they still have the option of doing nothing. And unfortunately, that gets chosen frequently. And my father was a plumber, and I'm good with tools. I enjoy building things and make things beautiful. So I do some handiwork on the side
Hmm.
because it's good for me. I enjoy it and all that. And it's phenomenal, fascinating how different the selling is for that, because there's no selling. You go, hey, I'm tired of my old bathroom. I want my bathroom to be beautiful. I go, okay, well, we could do this, this, and this, and it'll be this much. And you go, okay, when can you start? Right? And then with
Right.
helping people to remodel their lives, then the finances stuff come up, and I'm not sure I can afford it, and this is really a big problem. I'd love to work on it, but I can't afford it right now. And then 2 sentences later, they tell me about their upcoming vacation to Hawaii and stuff like that, right? So, oh, and that's all just head trash stuff too, and a scarcity mindset. But sometimes that gets a little tiring. It's
Yeah.
certainly easier to sell remodeling, right?
Sure, I get you. I get that too. And it's one of those things that I think a lot of people just want to be normal, and they don't want to have an issue, and they don't want to need to look at their head trash, or to clear their trauma, or to, focus on what's a limiting belief or really core issue that's just holding them back from living a better existence. And it's that I just want to be normal. I don't want anything to be wrong. It's a denial system. It's a coping mechanism. And it's something that I've seen a great deal. And I'm one of those people who like dives in. What do I got? What's causing this block? Why is that happening? How come that's not coming together? It's me. But that comes from so many years of, facing my own head trash, my own deeper soul issues, and coming to the other side of that, and just seeing so much shift and light and freedom and flow. And I'm sure you can speak to that too. I mean, when we do face it and get through it, keyword through, wow.
Yeah. And also, I think one other thing that contributes to that, Paula, is people just don't have the belief that things really can be different.
Mm.
And at least part of that is that so much of what the world has taught us as far as success strategies and happiness strategies and living a good life is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
And so here's this person who is using what they've been taught with the honest intention and honest desire to do better, and it hasn't worked. So then they go, well, this is resignation. This is who I am. This is as good as it gets, right? And really, so much of what we've been taught is just garbage. And an easy example of that is guilt, shame, negative self-talk, all those things, right? We've been taught, or the lie in the world is that those things help people to change and help people to do better, that they're a success tool, right? And I know you know this, but they aren't, right? We can go to the laboratory and we can prove that negative self-talk makes your brain weaker. You think slower, you think less accurately, your creativity goes down, your resiliency goes down. Okay, so that's not good. And we can also prove it makes your body weaker, your immune system weaker, your reaction time slower. How in the world am I supposed to do better with a weak body and a weak mind? And yet the lie, the illusion is that stuff, if I beat myself up good enough, I won't ever make that mistake again.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So that kind of, and there's a bunch of that there where people, again, that's what they're using because that's what they know, and that stuff never is going to work. So then they go, well, things can't be different.
Sure.
No.
You know,
So
and there's a
therefore,
lot
let's
of,
do nothing.
yeah, there's a lot more like chatter about that in the current day too. I think people are waking up to the value of being empowered, of self-love, of walking into a path of holding a sense of self-honor and letting yourself really kind of shine, you know, that's happening more and more. But I think the inherent nature is the guilt, the shame, the not good enough. You know, when my daughters were younger, one of the things that I would say to them all the time when they were complaining, I'm like, it's always easy to see what's not good. It's always easy to see where there's a difficulty. But let's be smarter. Where is it good? Where are things right?
Yeah,
Right?
nice.
And that's just, you know, I think honestly, my background coming from such high trauma and such difficulty and being so completely driven when I moved into my teens and my adult years to like face it, face my demons and really do something different. I became like just a addicted solution seeker, you know? So I consistently focus on solution, which isn't to say there's never a problem. There's always a problem, and they're really easy to find. But if you start practicing that walk of solution, they become easy to find too.
Yeah, love it.
So, so I want to talk about your email too. I mean, you have this email that I get. You used to send it every day, and I know it's now a few times a week, but I still love that. That is so inspired. Tell us how that started and how it's going and has evolved, because I know that's been an evolution for you too.
Yeah, how it started is a good question. I'm not sure. I somehow just got the idea I should write a daily email, I guess. And so I started doing it, and I'm right around, I number them so I know where I'm at. I've written just a few short of 1,600. So I've been
Wow.
doing it for a while. And yeah, it's usually 4 or 5 times a week. So I call it the daily dose of Jonathan because the not quite daily dose of Jonathan is too long. But yeah, and it's, it's really just feels like it's something I'm supposed to do. And it's not hard. It's not a burden. Um, and I, frequently will hear, somebody will email me back. I also post them on Facebook or, someone, but anyway, someone will comment like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. Or, obviously on Facebook, if people share it, it means it impacted them in a good way or whatever, and the thing with that, and I even wrote a daily dose on this not too long ago, was about invisible impact. That oftentimes the good we do in the world, we just got to do it because it's the right thing to do. We don't necessarily get to see the impact.
Yeah.
And when we do get to see the impact, that's more of the gift. So I was on a conference call with a group of people, and some of them were from South Africa, not that that matters. But when I got on it, the first time I spoke in this call, this one guy gets super excited. This guy from South Africa, he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Jonathan, and your emails have helped me through some really dark times." And I didn't even know he was subscribed. I didn't even know he read them. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Jonathan, right?" And and it's like, so there. If that happens, I mean, that's happening regularly, and
Yeah.
most of the time we don't get to see that impact. But I do know that my job is to love on people and to help people think different and to make this world a better place. And so writing these daily doses is a way that I do that. And
Yeah.
sometimes I get to see the impact, and more often I don't. But
Yeah. I can honestly say that I am one of those who not only do I get your email on a regular basis, and I do read most of them because they are inspiring, and I've had many moments when it was just right on time. I mean, and I've replied or I've posted because I've been getting them for years. And one of the things for me that's really cool is that every time I get them, I'm like, that's my friend. That's my friend Jonathan, right? And I know exactly where it comes from. I know how sincere it is. I know how authentic it is. And I just so appreciate it. So I know that other people do too. I mean, it's such a valuable insight. And we'll tell, whomever is listening to our interview later how to get on your email list as well, and make sure that they know they can be inspired in those wonderful synchronistic moments just as well. So thank you for doing it. It's super
Yeah.
cool.
It also, it ties into what you were saying a little bit ago, Paula, about how people just want to be normal.
Yeah.
That, having stuff is normal. It's part of the human condition. For better or for worse, it is part of the human condition. If you're
Sure.
breathing, you've got head trash. And
Yeah.
you can create head trash tomorrow that you don't have today. It's just part of being a human being, right? So, that's what I write about, is just the human experience, and again, how to do better and all that. But people will often say things like, it's like you were watching me, or you heard what I said the other day or something, and of course I'm not busy spying on people. I'm just, these are universal human experiences. Or people will say that, like, you probably haven't heard this before. I'm like, oh, I probably have, with the
Yeah.
head trash and how they're getting in their own way and all that. It's a lot like going to one of those salad bar places. Of course your plate's going to look different than mine and then the person next to us, but by gosh, there's certainly going to be a lot of similarities on our plates too, right? Well,
Sure.
that's life, the head trash salad bar, right?
Right. I like it. Yeah, I get a few different inspirational emails. I follow Abraham Hicks, and I follow Mike Dooley, and I follow you. And those ones that I get regularly are so frequently just like right on time. And I like the daily word as well. There's like certain dailies that I get on the regular, and I read as many of them as I can. I do my regular quiet time every morning. So I'll usually like read a couple of inspirational things and then I'll get quiet. But I am often so just blown away at how synchronistic and right on time a specific message really
Yeah,
is. So
yeah,
I think that's how the universe works. It
absolutely.
knows where you are, what you're going through, what you need in that moment. And when you trust it, keyword faith, trust, that's when it really lines up just so synchronistically. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cool. So tell us about somebody that you've worked with that's had like a serious breakthrough. I mean, when you think about your history with so many people and you've had just some really great experiences in supporting people with their head trash, what's one of the breakthroughs that comes to mind for you?
Oh gosh. Just in general, people I work with get lighter, happier, and life just works better for them.
Mm-hmm.
A client of mine, he's told me this story many times, that like the thing that really captures is he walked, finished playing golf, and he walked into the pro shop, and the golf pro said to him, "What happened to you? Because you used to come in here and you used to be a little storm cloud and you'd complain and this and that. And now every time you come in here, you're happy. And instead of telling me about what went wrong with your game, it's like the question with your daughter, what's good? You come in here and you tell me about your best shot of the day. What happened to you?" Right? Well, we took care of some head trash, which allowed him to love himself more, be kinder to himself, which then ripples out into every area of our life.
Cool. I
Another,
so agree.
yeah. Another recent client she had just lost her mojo. 8 different bad things had happened, and she just, and I work on 2 levels. There's conscious stuff so that people can wrap their brains around it, and then we can grab conscious stuff and choose to think differently. Meanwhile, while that's going on, I'm just doing my thing, rewiring their thinking patterns, rewiring their brains, draining the garbage, that sort of thing, right? But she's just got a new life now. She's back, right? Because we took care of this pain and suffering. We took care of this lousy thinking path. We took care of this hurt and injury and let it go. And she's every time I see her, she's just, you don't know what you did for me, right? And it's just loving on people and clearing that stuff out. So
let's talk about clearing that stuff out. What is your process? How do you clear the head trash?
Yeah, so my gift is that it's easy for me to see what people believe about themselves
Mhm.
and what's possible for them and what they deserve and all of this, right? So once we see, just like the story I shared earlier about, I saw the belief that I'm not lovable. Once you see it, then we can do something about it. Then we can upgrade it, right?
Mhm.
So when people coach with me, the intake process is real simple. I ask them two questions. Why are we working together? What do you want to get out of it?
Sure.
And then that's where we dive in. Oh, I want to, make more money. I want to get my mojo back or whatever, right? And then I just look at, okay, well, what's going on up here now that has things be the way they are? And what upgrades do we need to make to allow things to be different? Because it's impossible. I say this all the time. I should probably get this tattooed on my forehead or something. It's impossible to do better than your thinking will allow. It's
That's true.
impossible to do better than your thinking will allow. So we uncover the thinking that doesn't serve people and we upgrade it. And how does it actually change? To be honest, I don't know how to answer that question. I just know that it does when I work with people. If we get into
Mhm.
quantum physics and everything is energy and all that, my intent, my focus is energy, and I'm working with their energy, and things change. But how it actually happens, I don't know. It just does.
Yeah.
Different thoughts get replaced. I think you said this about me once, Paula, if I remember right, a long time ago when we did a workshop, that Jonathan takes the weeds in your garden and he transforms them into flowers. I think you said something like that, right? So,
Yeah, I'm such an analogy person, and I do remember that. That was one of the big workshops that we did way back. I think that was the one we did on self-love.
yeah, that was a long
Yeah,
time ago, but
it
yeah.
was. It was actually 9 years ago. You and me and our friend George.
Yep.
That was
So,
such a cool event.
yeah, again, I can see what people believe and we find the lousy beliefs and we shift them.
Hmm. And I'm a big believer in quantum physics. A lot. I do a lot of work with people that like a paced therapeutic approach that's faster than talk therapy. And I talk about quantum leaping.
Yeah.
I'll help them understand what's a quantum leap. And I think that that's kind of the place where you work, is more in the let's create a quantum leap with what you've got going on right now. And I think that's kind of the space that you're in, kind of energetically. It's like an energetic body of work. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cool.
And that's one of the things the world has taught us that's not accurate is that change has to be long and hard.
Right,
No,
right.
and traditional models, people can work on a therapy, on a phobia for years.
Yeah.
And yet, I know we both cured people of phobias in
Hmm.
minutes,
Hmm.
right? So
Sure,
it
sure.
doesn't have to be that way, right?
It
So,
doesn't. And it's just a matter of, again, what's that belief? Where am I stuck? What belief or what head trash do I get stuck on?
yeah,
And can I just clear it?
let it go. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So tell us what you're up to now. I mean, how can my people find you? How do they get on the email so that they too can be inspired? If they wanted to work with you, tell us what you'd like to tell us about
Sure.
what you're up to.
Yeah. So, it's impossible to do better than your thinking will allow, right? That's my message. And only you can choose to change your thinking, but you can. And there's tools and strategies you can use on your own, and then there's working with a professional like Paula or myself to help you do that. And when your thinking's different, you're free to live different, to create different results, to have unprecedented results, right? How people can get in touch with me is, first of all, you can always give me a phone call, 303-552-7285. 303-552-7285. Or my website is my name, jonathanmanske.com. Jonathan, Jonathan, Manske, Manske.com. That's also my email address, jonathan@jonathanmanske.com. And you can subscribe to the Daily Dose of Jonathan there. You could also email me and I can subscribe to you or whatever. But yeah, again, my job is to love on people and help them to do better and live better. And
Cool.
be happier, do better, and live better.
Well, I'll make sure that all that information is in the post for this particular interview. So not only the members of Consciouspreneurs International who are also consciouspreneurs can see this and have an experience of somebody who's a very seasoned consciouspreneur, but also I'll be posting it on social media so other people can kind of hear this conversation and learn more about who you are and what our friendship has been. And you know, one of the pieces for this, and probably the last and the most important question is, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to other consciouspreneurs, entrepreneurs who walk this path of a conscious creation in business? What would be something you would tell them if you had a message? Because you've got the platform.
Yeah, what immediately comes to mind with that is about being happy now. And if you can't be happy now, you won't be happy when something's different. It sounds logical, but no, you'll still be you, the person who's practiced being unsatisfied and unhappy, and you'll just change the target. Oh, I doubled my income. What I really mean is I'll be happy when I double it again, or when this or that happens, right? And, I certainly spent a lot of years not being happy now, but because my business wasn't where I wanted it to be, because my life wasn't where I wanted it to be, because my income wasn't where I wanted it to be, because this and that wasn't where I wanted it to be, right? Instead of, no, we're so missing the boat when we do that, because if I'm not happy today, I don't get this time back. It's gone. And I've wasted it, like sand through your fingers sort of thing. No, you can be happy now with any challenge you have, right? Because happiness isn't circumstantial, it's a choice. And, then I don't know if it's ironic or not, but I'm going to use the word ironically. When we are happy now, then we just become so much more magnetic to good showing up in our lives, and the breaks and the stuff we're looking for. But by gosh, be happy now.
Yeah.
And, that's probably the biggest change in my life, My life's not perfect. There's areas that aren't where I want them to be. But you know what? I don't have any pain about it. I don't have any suffering about it. I don't have any frustration about it. I'm just at peace. I'm being happy now, and then taking action from that place, and that what that does to a person's quality of life is huge.
And I'll add that when we have those pain points, this endeavor I've stepped upon to create this collective and this movement for other consciouspreneurs and for myself, it's come with an incredible amount of just roller coaster ride. There's been incredible moments of inspiration and creation and fire, and moments of just pure like defeat and feeling like a complete rookie, which was kind of challenging. I came into this so confident, and 12 years as a consciouspreneur, I know what I'm doing, and I got 28 years worth of business coaching, but online digital business, which is what this is, very, very different. And I've had people even ask me what's so different, which is for a different conversation. But the point is that in the heart of some of this deep challenge and frustration, and even moments of pure defeat, like, I just don't know what I'm doing. I've really come to a very clear understanding, and with many of the challenges in my life, same story. This is going to lead me to such great wisdom. This is going to give me so much information. Every challenge affords us wisdom and education. And that alone is where the be happy now comes in. It may be hard, this may be challenging, but we just keep going because something cool is going to come of it. I promise.
Yeah, I love that. And that's just everything that happens, we're choosing an interpretation whether we realize it or not. And what you chose there serves you incredibly well.
Right.
It just inspired me hearing you say it, right? It's like, wow, what a great mindset. I need to be a little bit more that way, right? but that's a choice, whether you made it
Sure.
consciously or non-consciously. And if you choose, oh, this sucks, and oh, it's not working, and right, boy, that's just completely
Right.
different path right there.
Well, it's the same thing as listening to you say the words. Just be happy now. Just be, I mean, it's simple. Just be happy now. As soon as you said it, I'm like, okay, I
Why
will.
not?
I will. Awesome. Well, thank you again. This was great. I so appreciate you making the time. I know you're a busy guy and I know you've got a full plate, and I just appreciate your friendship and all of the years of just wisdom we've been able to exchange, and having a resonant message, and, kind of walking this cool path, alongside each other. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this today.
Oh, my pleasure. I think the world of you, Paula. I drive by your office area frequently, and every time I'm like, hey, Paula,
Hey.
because you're just an amazing person, and I'm
Mhm.
grateful to know you.
You as well. Awesome, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you all for watching. Hope this makes a difference for you.
Again, I am Paula Robbins. I'm with Consciouspreneurs International, and you just got to listen to my good friend Jonathan Manske and myself chat about just be happy now. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye.